Hello guys! Today we will be discussing about the topic Reels culture and attention economy. In the digital age, attention has become a valuable commodity shaped by short form video platforms such as Instagram and YouTube. Reels culture reflects the logic of attention economy where engagement, speed and visibility determine value and content is designed to capture focus within seconds, reshaping how we process information. Today, we will be discussing this topic with some of our friends to explore how Reels culture is transforming the way we think, create, and consume in this digital age. In what ways do platforms like Instagram and YouTube commodify human attention?
I'm not really sure about Instagram, but having a general idea or how YouTube actually works, I feel like our attention and focus becomes the economic resource for them. Like we are being the product that is sold to brands and other advertisers. Here, I feel like attention becomes the currency for them. Like our time, our clicks, our reposts, tags, rewatches, all of this becomes a way in which they monetize on human attention. And coming to the algorithm that these apps uses, we find that it is not something, the algorithm is not structured in a way that is to, how do I say that is to cater to the well-being of the society or reveal the truth. Rather, we find that today's algorithms uh, employ what we call that, a reactional outburst, revealing shocking incidents, or in simple terms, catering to one's
As I
desire
mentioned,
for human experience, like our fears, our vulnerabilities, our interests, or even our political stance the becomes the element for commodification of human attention. And we find that in today's world, in today's social scenario, the social platform, in talking about today's social media apps, influencers are not just mere creators. They become the brand. Their life itself becomes, a monetizable narrative. And we find that the apps also tactically employ techniques which can minimize disinterest and maximize human attention. So, due to all these facts, I feel social media apps like Instagram or YouTube commodifies human attention as such.
Are we moving from reflective thinking to reactive thinking due to this Reels culture?
I guess, it's not even a guess with all the statistics that is coming out. We are moving into that reactive phase and not reflective phase, not just structurally, but cognitively and psychologically as well. Talking about the reflective culture we used to, or reflective thinking that we used to practice, it involved, slow processing, contemplation, synthesis of ideas, and meaning making. It is something which Emerson states in his essay, The American Scholar, as well. So it's a very slow process of creation and meaning. But when we come, with the emergence of the real culture, I feel it's more of the reactive thinking that works here. We generally do not take into account the logos and ethos behind a certain incident or certain elements. It's just the pathos that works. So, talking about pathos, I guess it can be understood with the example of a recent incident which happened in Kerala. That's the suicide of a person named Deepak due to an issue related to an abuse in the West. So what happened is that the culture promote what we call, judgmental mentality, shadow processing, stimulus response reaction, and not a critical thinking or reflection as such. So all these paves way to stimulation and not understanding, reflection, reaction and not reflection, and lack of depth as such. Uh, so the ultimately what it leads to is like the fragmentation of our attention span as such. They monetize on our attention and reduce us into creatures with most minimal attention. I feel students are the you know highest sufferers of this scenario because we find it even difficult to continuously read or listen in a class for maybe even 10, and it is reduced to even 5 nowadays. So all these points to the fact that how Reels culture has promoted or encouraged what we call as reactive thinking and not reflective thinking. It's all a repercussion of this kind of phenomenon that is happening.
How would you define attention economy in today's world imbibed in social media?
Attention economy.
Yes.
Now, when you first hear the word attention economy, the first thing that comes to my mind is I'd like to give you a small story just to give an idea to you, because I think this is not just something for marks, but something I want the viewers to understand as well. So you walk into a mall, say any mall in China, you walk into it, and you walk into the mall, you see different stores, different stalls, bright lights, music shops, everything over there, and you just walk through it, right? So what do? The mall makes money through getting your attention. The mall, you don't actually pay the stall, you don't actually pay the shopkeepers, but the shopkeepers pay the mall to get your attention. Now, where attention is product, and attention is money. What do? You open Instagram, you open YouTube, you scroll through one reel. For me personally, I scroll through one reel at night, and I go till 1 2 a.m. scrolling through the same reels there. What How does companies make money? My attention. How does their product database increase? My attention. So that is what attention economy is in this present scenario where people use social media in an extensive way. People, if I want to search for a house, you earlier what you used to do is you look at the newspapers, you look at posters, you look at other people telling you where the houses are for rents. But now what do? You go into OLX, you go to Magic Pin and search for houses and go there, right? So it's become so much simple, but there is always two sides of a coin where you have to really realize where attention economy is not a really good economy, where you can it's where attention is scarce. Your attention is your product. And for us, for millennials, for Gen Z people, attention is very less. It's even lesser than a goldfish. Now, saying that actually it's sad. It's actually a pitiful statement to say. So for my viewpoint, there is always two sides of a coin, where social media is something which destroys you but also makes you a better person. So I think using social media, using your attention, giving money to companies via attention is something which can be profitable in the longer run, but it also has another con side to it. So maybe find a middle ground, maybe find a balance, and try to strive through social media.
So, according to you, how does the 15 to 60-second format influence our perception of time?
Now, when we think about short form content as such, earlier we used to spend time to watch 2 hour long movies, 3 hour long movies, and now it's just become boring for us. Even when you go to a theater with a kid who's born after the 2010s, you really feel like, kids, especially me, also my generation, we don't have attention span as such. So what do? We go into short form content. We were introduced to short form content in a very late period of time, but still it has been something that pulls us. It pulls people. You don't want to get, so if I type in how to do this, how to do that, if I type in a tutorial, if I get it in probably 10 seconds or maybe 30 seconds of my time, even not wasting a minute for that, I would obviously use that. But what is the long run effect of it? The long run effect of it is obviously dangerous. It's when you can't really. So for me, I used to think that it's okay, right? It's okay using short form content. It's okay watching reels. It's okay watching anything which is off short form. And in the long run, what happens is that you can't sit down. Your attention span goes down. You can't even talk to a person for more than a minute or for more than 5 minutes, because it really wires your brain into thinking that short form content is the best content out there. You can't even spend time to watch a 2 hour long movie because you're not getting something out of it. You feel like you're not getting out of it. You're getting not getting something out of it. Now, what my professor, even today in class, what he said was, read books. Now, books are something which is very subjective today in nature because a lot of people, even including me, I don't read books. What do? I go to ChatGPT, I take that book's PDF, I put it in, and I get a summary. Right. So that summary is also short form content. We don't restrict short form content only to reels, only to shorts, and only to video graphical short form content. We should also try to include in group ChatGPT and other AI platforms into short form content because it's efficiency, it's productivity. But in the long run, is it effective? In the long run, is it the best way to do your things? Is it the best way that you're learning? Is it the erosion of learning that's happening there? Where people use AI, people use other short form content to learn, but they don't have depth in anything. But the next question that I would like to ask you is, should we have depth in learning? Should we have depth in learning a subject? Because short form content will obviously give you that instant gratification of whatever that you want. But does it have depth, or do you want depth? I would like to give you an open-ended question and end the answer there. Thank you.
Do you think Reels culture as a democratization of creativity or as a standardization of expression?
I would go with how Reels culture gives space for democratization of creativity because people are everywhere around the world and everyone can post anything in Instagram Reels. So if we take news channels for example, or if we take other channels where people want to post something, it will cost money for them to advertise what they want. But if you take Instagram Reels, people can post anything and without spending their money on it, and it would go viral as well if they use the audios which are currently trending. And I would like to give you guys a stupid example. So someone from your family is missing, you don't have to get to the news channel or a news studio to request them or to give them money to publish posters or to publish those things or to air those things in their news channels. You can just ask your family member who is not missing to ask them to take a video of yourself claiming that this person is missing, and if you use a viral video it would go viral on Instagram. And as you all know, everyone these days uses Instagram, so they would actually find that missing person. And that's how Reels culture gives space for democratization of creativity. And if you take creativity, people can post anything which interests them. They don't have to abide by the standards. Yeah, what they like they can post, what their interests they can also do that. And yeah.
Okay, as you mentioned about the democratization of creativity, do you think this Reels culture encourage originality or the repetition of trends?
Reels encourage both originality and repetition of trends. First, I'll talk about repetition of trends. There are audios and videos which are more viral now, and if people follow the same trends, then their video will get viral as well. Their video has a high probability of getting more views, and if you get more views, then it would actually benefit your the channel that you have or the account that you have, because you'd get more followers. And if you get more followers, then you would have a great chance to influence a lot of people, because Instagram is a platform where it encourages influences, and it's a platform where you influence other people as well. That's why there are a lot of influencers on Instagram claiming themselves to be Instagram. So yeah, the trends which are popular or the trends which are viral plays a major role in making the videos that you create viral. So if you follow the same things which are viral, or if you follow the same things which are popular, then you have a better chance of making your videos popular and making your videos viral. And the next question, what's the next question?
About the originality.
Yeah, about originality. Only when you're original, then your videos will get more views or your videos will get popular. So if your videos are original, or if your videos are creative, or if they have a quality of becoming popular and viral, then it definitely gives a lot of space for originality as well, because only if there is originality, then your videos have a high chance of becoming viral, and you have a high chance of influencing a lot of people. As I mentioned earlier, like how people follow a lot of trends to get views. But if you take the first one who made the trend, then you would have to appreciate him for his originality, because only when he is original, because of his originality, people follow him. So yeah, if your content is original and if your content is creative, then people would follow your originality and your content as well. That's why Instagram encourages both originality and creativity, and it also
How
encourages
does the
repetition
Reels
as well.
culture affects to analyze one's self-worth?
What I think is that when we consume reels, we do a lot of comparisons, and I feel like that does negatively affect our self worth because we feel like a lot of people are doing better than we are, or sometimes we try to reach certain levels that are very difficult. It's like unreachable humanly, or that's not normal. For example, we might compare ourselves to influencers and think, why don't we look a certain way? Why don't we have a life like that? But the thing is, their reality is far more different than us, and that requires a lot of, I would say, a lot of money, a lot of other opportunities that we may not have as average people. So I do think it impacts us negatively, but at the same time, it does also boost self growth. So until and unless we are aware of ourselves, I think there's a lot of negative impact. But if we know how to control our impulses, I would say there's a little growth as well.
So, in your opinion, are we consuming content or content is consuming us?
I would say we are actively consuming content, but at the same time, it consumes our mind, our lives, and everything else because we might feel like our opinions are our own, right? But at the same time, how much do we really think like independently? Because when it comes to consuming content, we try to, it feels like whatever is shown to us, we reflect those views. They are not exactly our own. We might think that we are free thinking, but I do not think that it's actually free thinking. It's just the content that we see online. For example, if I'm talking about a certain issue like feminism, my if I'm interested in that content, my content will be filled with reels that are about anti-men maybe, or filled with things that are going wrong with feminism. So I might get agitated, and I might engage more with such content. But someone who is not interested in such a topic, their their content and their whole feed will be completely different from mine. So what I think is that reels are consuming us while we think that we are consuming content or we are consuming reels, but those reels are actually taking over our minds and making us think that our views are our own, but they aren't.
Can Reels be considered as a new literary or cinematic form?
Well, reels are a form of communication on social media, and I think that cinema is also a form of communication, and so is works of literature. So I definitely think that reels can be used to convey literary ideas and cinematic expression as well, and they do. A lot of people for whom it is not very feasible to access equipment, expensive equipment that is needed to make uh, films or make to produce movies, often nowadays turn to reels to showcase their talents and their art. So I think that it should be used as a form of cinema. And as for literature, a lot of people use social media as a way to reach out to as many people as possible because of its great accessibility. So I think that it should be considered a way to promote interest in literature and stimulate conversation.
Okay, how does it intersect with gender, class, and regional representation then?
But I think that reels are so accessible to everybody. So that in itself is something that breaks the barriers of gender, class, and regional representation, right? Because people from all regions, from all castes, and from both genders are exposed to all kinds of content, which broadens their perspective. Say, for example, a person who's an upper class member of society can is able to access content that represents the struggles or the lifestyle of a person of a lower class, from a lower class section of the society. So that I think helps in broadening perspectives, and it makes people more aware. But I think it should also be exercised with a bit of caution. You shouldn't believe everything you see on social media. But yes, because there is so much consumption of media daily, that we go through, that it definitely makes a difference, and it is, I would say, overall it is a step towards progress.
So, we came to the conclusion that Reels culture marks a significant transformation in how attention and creativity function today. While it democratizes content creation, it also compresses complex ideas into brief, fast paced fragments. And the attention economy turns human focus into measurable profit, raising ethical and cognitive concerns. The challenge lies in balancing immediacy with depth and reflection. Ultimately, our awareness of how we engage with digital media determines its impact on our memory, patience, and creativity. And that's it for today. Thank you for watching.